I'm Dan Lutz, and I'm here with my co-host
Tank.
And we're here on the front lines in the battle against the deep state, the cabal, the Illuminonkeys, and all those who wish to enslave all of humanity for their own selfish reasons. And can't you feel the energy? Everything's moving a lot faster now.
Yeah, everything's coming together. So, Dan, what have you discovered today? And you've been prepping. I'm sorry. I know we were going to do something live, different time, but we have assembly meetings, and everybody's coming together all over the country now. So that's really exciting. And New York State, the New York Assembly, they have officially got all their documentation gathered up to actually declare officially they're an assembly. So now we're going to run notice. All right. So I'm very excited about that.
That's
and
amazing.
there couldn't be a time that it's more needed, right? There's never been a time where the assembly was more needed, right? Where an actual voice of the people can be heard.
And that's
just happened.
Because they're coming to take your kids.
They're coming. Oh my! That is the reality. So I just got this right. It's amazing. This is amazing. So the CDC is saying that basically, I should probably read it so I get it right, but basically the CDC is saying that if they're doing this whole tracking thing, right? So they want to trace the virus back, right? So the CDC apparently has more power than the state government, the federal government, the people, right? They can do whatever the hell they want, right? If you remember back in October, what they said was that the CDC has determined that the state health departments must remove all exemptions pertaining to the vaccines, right? In 2020. So here we are we're getting halfway through the year, and they continue on with their, corrupt, clandestine, depopulation agenda, right?
Right.
So now they're tracing, right? So this is them implementing their plan, right? So it's really essential for New York to stand up and actually be counted and say, look, you cannot do that here, right? So basically what happened right now is that the CDC is saying, look, if you don't have 2 separate bathrooms in the house you live in, that we will set up separate housing to basically secure and take away your children and separate you from your family.
And what's the reason for that? But why do you need two bathrooms?
The hearts and minds of the children. That's why. That's,
but what's their reasoning that if you don't have two bathrooms?
Because if somebody is infected with COVID, right, because they're tracing everybody, right? So they're doing all this in the name of we want to make sure you're safe.
But why two bathrooms makes a bit of difference?
Well, so you don't have the infected sharing a bathroom with the non-infected.
Well, who's going to clean the infected bathroom?
Well, apparently what you do is you lock the infected in a room and you ignore them indefinitely. You just load food in there, you throw it in there like they're a dog. That's how you're supposed to treat the COVID.
I see.
That's the goal.
I see. You just like the nurses in the homes with the breathing tubes. They keep them in one room and they go in once in 5 days to see who's still alive.
Yep. And so we're look. This is what your hair looks like when you've been locked inside and all the barbers are shut down, right? So I keep trying to cut my own hair. When you get to the back, it's a train wreck. It's
well, you need more mirrors.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. And more skill, and more barbers. So we'll see.
Yeah, my hair is getting a little long, but I kind of knew it was coming, so I took a haircut just before the lockdown happened. So.
And you got those big pretty locks, man. You can pull it off, you know.
Oh yeah.
I got in a bar fight in college, so I got staples right here. I mean, like I got a scarf and that, so I'm like, man, if I lose any more hair, I'm screwed. It's like Frankenstein.
Well, they're doing marvelous things with stem cells. They can grow some stem cells for you and grow them right on your head, and they come out as hair, and then you just pick them off when you need them.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll work into that. If need be, I will get that. No shame in my game about it either.
Well, I was a little I was a little bit fantasizing that about stem cell growing on your head. That wasn't, but they could somehow, I'm sure, create anything. I know that they can create teeth with stem cells. That's an amazing one.
I hear that. Actually, when my sons were born, we actually took the cord blood, and we paid to have it stored, right? And one of them disappeared, right? It's kind of like, and at the time, I didn't think anything of it. They were like 5 years old. We were like, who knows, But now, in hindsight, I'm like, oh no, there's probably a clone of one of my sons floating around here somewhere because they just took it, and who knows what they do with it, right?
Yeah, well, they know that that particular genome is good for duplication because you've got twins, right? So
it's true. Told every girl I ever dated I was going to have twins one day. Lo and behold, so it works. Power manifestation.
That's it. Yeah.
So what's going on? You got all types of things going on in the government. It looks like, and moves taking place, movies shaking. I mean.
Well, it looks like it's the drumbeat. It's the drip, drip, drip is coming to a stream of information coming out. The weirdest take on this is that Judge Sullivan over the Flynn case is like saying something completely unusual. Well, the prosecutors don't want to show up, so we're going to bring in some liberal people to bring op-eds and read them into the record. What is that for? Why, right? To delay things before he give him an excuse to not. Ultimately, there's no prosecution, right? Who's going to prosecute? And there's no crime. The reason this drop is because there's no
grand jury, the assemblies. That's who. Come out and start prosecuting. What other option is there? You can't trust anybody. They're all corrupt. The judges have been ordering kids. Look, we know this for a fact, right? This is absolute fact. People need to wake up to this reality. The judges, now we know at least one judge for a fact, was ordering kids down in Arkansas, right? This is why Linda Collins Smith got killed. Her husband was a judge. She found on his computer pornography of him with a child that he ordered from DHS, I think it is down there, the Department of Human Services, which is just their version of Child Protective Services. Ordered that kid in like Chinese food, right? Because apparently down there, I guess anywhere, they're not just taking kids; they also deliver them to pedophiles. If you're a judge, right? And they just brought that kid into the judge's chambers where he videotaped himself having sex with his kid. It was on the computer, right? And he just replayed it whenever he got a chance to fantasize about it, I guess, right? Now, that's the reality of your. And now think about what most of us think of a judge. I mean, before, I guess we woke up to this reality. Judges are essentially, we think they're the long arm of the law, right? I mean, these guys are the absolute authority. Nobody can mess with the judge.
Right.
But that's not true. That's not true. Now, Homeland Security actually went to a meeting with the National Assembly and they approved of everything they were doing. They said this one thing. They said, as long as you don't go around starting to arrest judges. Well, Homeland Security, screw you. Because if these judges are raping and molesting kids, why on earth, if you're keeping the Homeland secure, would you ever say that?
Right.
Now that's the reality. Why? How dare you try to say? I never in a million years would have agreed to that. They would have said that, I'd been like, well, I guess you're not going to approve. Get the hell out. Because at the end of the day, the people have to stand up together and actually be a force to be reckoned with, right? Now, the problem has been one person stands up and they're actually saying the truth. Everybody else turns around and says, that guy's crazy, right? Yeah. But when everybody's crazy, then you realize, wait, no, this is real. So now I think we're approaching that time.
Yeah, the people have woken up enough. They're really woke at this point, and they realize that who is really in position to help you is not the people in the Child Protection Services, not in the court system. That this system is set up against you, and everyone knew that. Already kind of knows it's like there's. If you're going up against that system, there's really not much you can do. Hire a lot of attorneys and do something. Or you take the patriot, positions and they work the system for it not being legitimate, and they can literally make things happen because they're too big of a headache and the judges just want them out of the courtroom. But now, we're waking up to look at what's going on with Sullivan. So. Dave on X22 actually had brought this up and said that the Patriots they want to show this. They want them to show how in opposition to law they are. They want to keep waking up people by seeing what's going on. And this is part of this buildup. And because the information flow is every day now, it's every day. I mean, this is expanded. Where now, and I brought this up yesterday, that Flynn was, this whole meeting and everything that they got him on, the lying to the FBI, which in the meeting they said that he didn't lie, but somehow later on it was determined that he lied. But he was already under some sort of investigation, probably FISA, from October. At least from October. Could have been earlier.
Really?
Right? So, but there was no legitimate reason for it. And since there was no legitimate reason for it, they needed to have a reason to cover themselves. That's why they needed to do something this haphazard way. They couldn't get him on anything. He said nothing in the call to the Russians, and it was legitimate for him to have that call. He's supposed to be talking to the ambassador. All right? But they needed something, so they came up and said he lied. Even though he didn't lie, right? Because they needed something to cover themselves because they already were spying on Flynn. And they had to get rid of Flynn because Flynn knew that the dossier, the STEELE dossier, was garbage, and he was asking questions about it. He said, we got to get rid of this guy. He knows. He knows the intelligence game. And so they're not going to be able to pull this off to get Trump out of office. Right? They won't be able to do the coup if Flynn is there. So that all of it is now coming out. All of the information is going to be, coming out with something new every day as to evidence and showing who they are. Now today's was that Biden was responsible for the unmasking.
The unmasking of what?
His name, Flynn's name. So in other words, they hear the Russians talking on the FISO, right? Because well, they're spying on someone foreign, right, in another country. So they're listening in. CIA is listening in. So they got a transcript of a call between the Russian ambassador and someone. Who is that someone? Well, in order to know, they have to unmask them. So Biden's responsible for unmasking Flynn. Though he just admitted, on an interview the day before, that I don't know anything about it. So now this information.
Biden is not really a real person. He's just kind of like repeating sound bites as needed, and they prop him up there, and he says some stuff, right? And then figure it out.
I really think that maybe he's not as he's always a gaffe machine, always has been.
A gaffe machine, yeah.
Right, absolutely. But he's a proven plagiarer, right? When he ran for president in the 80s, he plagiarized something, right? And that blew his candidacy up, right? He just stole someone's speech. Right, but then he found out that he was a constant plagiarer. He was always taking other people's work and sticking his name on it, right? It's many times, right? And he lies, just out of hand. I mean, it's his nature to lie. Like when one of these get-togethers, there was someone challenging him in this. And this is an older one. It's like 20 years ago, and the guy says, "I'm smart and you're not." Right, kind of thing, and he's saying, "I'm the head of this in Harvard. I'm the head of this. I'm the head of this. I'm top of my class. Top of my class." Lie, 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 lie. Lied about everything, and then but it's his nature is kind of that combative nature, and just lies and plagiarizes. So that's him, but is he actually going senile, or is that part of the game?
Actually, what I would say is he is suffering from adrenal fatigue. So because he's not able to get adrenochrome in the proper doses, it's actually doing serious damage, and he's suffering from various stages of organ failure, including what would happen is your brain begins to shrink. So a lot of your natural motor responses just aren't there. You can't connect, right? Because you're having these issues. Now, because your body's not producing enough adrenaline for you to function properly, right? That's one option. Or could be that he's dead, and what you're seeing is a clone that's malfunctioning. These are real. This is a real thing.
Sure.
We know that this could very likely be. I mean, we've watched Hillary Clinton. I watched Hillary Clinton live. I watched this live, and she glitched out because the woman who was up in front was just a hologram. And she glitched, right? Just her. I was watching it on video live, and she glitched out in the video state. I'm like, did no one else see that? Right? But they actually, some guys caught it, and then it got taken down off the internet. But that happens, right? Now, I think he'd be much more polished if he was a hologram, right? Because you can control what he's going to say.
Yeah.
So maybe a clone, right? Like Hillary Clinton's clone, 3 years ago, she glitched on September 11th, as she was walking to the van.
Right. She just...
And her security guards grab her, and she's having major issues because she doesn't have the adrenochrome. One of her former security guards actually, outed her about the whole thing. Wrote a whole book on it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. No. And I actually, that guy, you got to think, at some point, the security guys are the same guys who probably escorted a little kid in there and never saw the kid leave, right? So I always wonder, now. So what did he get in return? I guess he gets to have a book deal now, right? He gets to talk about it, right? And be one of the guys that outs it, make some money. So for that, he gets to be a famous author now, or not. Maybe he's a good guy and he's trying to tell the truth. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Or he becomes a body count, additional number in the body count.
Yeah, the past few years have been, anybody who investigated the Clintons. Let's see, the FBI agent, this is my favorite one. He was actually part of the white-collar crimes division of the FBI. He's investigating the Clintons, And he gets all this information. It's damning. Right, not too far off the timeline of when Linda Cotton Smith also had damning evidence on the Clintons, and she got killed. But this guy went into it as an FBI agent. Now, FBI agents are generally pretty conservative guys, right? Went out to a dance club and committed suicide in the middle of the dance floor, right in New York City. Now, this is not all in the news.
A completely normal way that you'd want to commit suicide. I mean, it's right up there with jumping off a bridge, jumping off a building, blowing your brains out with a gun, going to a dance floor.
Go on the dance floor, get on, go on the dance floor, and then boom. All of a sudden you're the Manchurian candidate, right?
Yeah.
They did that. Now you can imagine if he was programmed and they triggered his programming to go do this, it was probably done intentionally because they wanted to let people know if you try to out us, you'll end up killing yourself on the dance floor, right? So I guess that's the game plan.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah.
But that really happened, that's right. No one even talks about that. Not in the news, no one, it's just a coincidence that 58 people that were associated with every time they had evidence on the Clintons, they just disappeared, committed suicide. I mean, that's an unlucky friendship for sure. So,
yeah. It's people you don't want to know in your life.
And right now, secretly behind the scenes, not so secretly, but we have a ton of evidence, right? And that's been pulled together, and because Lawful America actually issued notice to the Department of Health Services in New York, right, to say that they were committing genocide, right, by issuing trying to force people to vaccinate. Mm-hmm. Now, in addition to that, right, because we gave them notice and 40 days has passed, well, now we found out that back in 2015, I guess Cuomo actually turned over the authority of the state to the Department of Health. So the Department of Health is actually running the state. Probably that was done so that the CDC would dictate to the Department of Health what to do, and they would have authority, right? So now, we already issued notice to the Department of Health and the CDC. So we actually are going to, put some form of injunction out there and say, based on the fact that you think you're the head of the state, you and your entire brood of, pedivore scumbag losers can all, jump off a bridge because you are not coming to our house to do this, right? But you have to open the state back up. You have to give the authority back to the people, and you all need to get out. And to be honest, they're guilty of genocide. So technically, they're guilty of genocide. We don't have to wait for anything. It should be able to do this within days, right? But to do that, there'd have to be real support from sheriffs and other police enforcement, law enforcement, who are actually supporting the Constitution, right? Who are actually supporting the people who have kids, who are real people like the rest of us. Now, they all swore an oath to the Constitution. Let's hope they support it. And you'd also need an active militia that's coming together to actually, enforce and be a presence to support this action. And if only someone would have organized the militia.
Has anyone done that? I wonder.
I hope. But, we'll see what happens next. So I'm very excited to see, the next few weeks here in New York and all over the world, man. If we're freed up, right? Now, are we allowed to talk about the thing you told me before the call? The banking system thing?
Sure. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, so it's just that as of Monday, the new banking system will be worldwide.
So,
and that's now basically coming from my friends in England.
My friends in England.
My English banker friends.
They make muffins, yeah. So now this has some legs, right? Because Kim said the final battle is now to the 17th, right? So we're coming up on the end of this thing. So either they're calling their shots, they're saying, hey, the new banking system that we made, the corrupt side, will be up and rocking on Monday. Or the only banking system that's actually functioning right now, which is actually the post office system, that is actually the KIM system, the Key Integrated Monetary System, that will be up and operating.
Wait, I'm getting a transmission coming in from the GCR. Yes, the GCR says
Oh, I forgot. Yeah,
that it's gonna happen on Monday.
Monday, the GCR is going down. It's all going to happen. The global currency reset's taking place. We're all safe. We're all safe.
Yeah.
It's going to be glorious. It's going to be glorious.
Now, I would say it would be very poetic and wonderful synchronicity that we started this with a countdown for the GCR not happening, right? And now we're ending with we're on a countdown now, T-3, to where we have now the new financial world system online and the beginning of abundance and peace forever.
Now that would be amazing, right? Now let's you know what? That's what's happening. And I'll say this to your sources there, the muffin makers. What they also said, they validated that the key integrated monetary system, that everyone out there who wants to deny that Kimberly Ann Gogan is the head of the global collateral accounts or the master accounts or the sovereign trust system or the asset redemption system or whatever you want to call it, the Dragon Family Trust, the Alpha Omega Trust, the Rodriguez Trust, every major world trust in the world, every major bank trust, all of it, anybody who wants to deny it. Now, I want you to appreciate the genius of this. Kim created a system because you all wouldn't acknowledge her name. You wouldn't acknowledge that she was the boss. So she took the time, in the midst of everything else she did, after she demolished your entire system, made all of you bow down, that you can't do anything. And she made sure to take the time to name it cleverly with an acronym, so it's KIMS. So when you talk about the system that you're using, you're going to have to forever say, well, we use the KIMS system.
We said we use Kim's system.
We use Kim's system. That's right. That's right.
It is amazing. But yeah, they're say when the first drop of the word Kim's in the upper echelon of the banking world brought stone silence when it was mentioned, and no one looked up. And then they were told later, how did you hear about that? You're very well informed.
Like, hey, you guys can hear about it too. We've been talking about it for 430 days straight, live on air every night of the week. Maybe you guys should tune in, then you all know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, they should tune in. But it's kind of when you're in that world, right? You only see the reality as you've learned your whole life what that's all about. The other stuff outside of that, you will think is bogus, right? But when something like this happens, right, it's basically it alters the reality, right, for these people, and it still takes them time to even absorb it. I would say that he did get promoted 3 days later.
He did get promoted, and you know what? Sharing the same intel with several people in the Pentagon, I've got guys promoted to be generals and all types of very high up positions, because all of a sudden we give them some information that they're trying to hide from everybody, and they bring it up to their senior official, and they're like, "Oh, you're very well informed." It's like, I saw it on YouTube, man.
This is above your pay grade. We have to raise your pay grade now, right?
Right.
Keep you in order.
Maybe we should be less secretive. Maybe the people at YouTube should stop blocking our growth, because you got to think there's another platform that might just be launching here pretty soon, where there'll be none of this stuff at all. So everybody can go to that platform, and it should be bigger and better and be the truth, and there won't be censorship this way. It should be pretty exciting.
Hey, I got a good question for Alexa.
What is it?
What's the name of the YouTube AI?
Oh, what is it?
I don't know. I don't know. But who would you ask? I think, well, the only other one to ask would be another AI. So ask Alexa.
Yeah.
Who's got an Alexa out there? Go ahead and ask what's the name of the YouTube AI?
Right.
And then ask if you talk very often. You guys get together and have a conversation.
So the Mother's Day gift that Kim asked me for, right? I just got a call. Dan and I were on the phone together, and her Mother's Day gift is actually this song that she asked me to kind of create a parody with, right? So I'm not going to put her name out yet, but I will tell everybody later. Our amazing, amazing singer, who was recently singing with, I can't remember his name, some famous guy. She actually showed up at the concert, and she was there working in the backstage. But she's a very successful singer all by herself. But she got to sing at this concert, right? Michael Bublé. She was at the concert, right? Now, she just we rewrote it today. I changed some lines, and we rewrote a song that everyone will know. And well, I mean, it's like an old school song from like a TV show. We're gonna put that out sometime tomorrow, right? We're gonna put the song out sometime tomorrow, and it's making fun of basically the fact that everyone's wearing masks, thinking that somehow this is going to stop the spread of a virus that isn't even really spreading that way, right?
So what is the temperature now on a daily basis in New York?
Now, I mean, it should be about 70, but it's been about 50. I think today I got it to like 65.
Okay,
yeah.
So still cool. All right.
It's so cool, so cool. I mean, for New York, it's heaven. It's beautiful right now. It's a great time to be outside, but not much to do outside because all the parks are closed, right? Can't go anywhere. So I'm sure if people try to escape, they'll probably try to stop them, right?
Right.
Because they're really trying to come in hard with nonsense. So.
Well, so now that's really good news. So the song is it meant to like be an intro for something, or is it?
Kim wants this. She really wants this network to launch, right? So she actually has the prototype up and running for this other network, and we have a meeting about it coming up, right? And I think I'm invited, and we're going to work on it and help. And the network will basically be very organized, and it'll be very it'll be the truth, right? There won't be a lot of the deeper stuff we talk about, like with galactics and all types of stuff like that, right? But it will be the news uncut, right? It won't be censored. It'll actually be the truth. And she'll also make sure that it's reinforced enough that the information can go out and no one can stop it, right? So it'll be uncensored, unredacted, real news, what's actually taking place. And to be honest, that's a really powerful thing when you consider that Kim is the one who runs the entire quantum system, which has access to virtually everything, everywhere, at all times. So there's no crime that anyone's getting away with that can't be tracked from the quantum system. So if something's going on and the news is saying it's one thing, Kim could give the intel out. Now, she might actually be planning to do this, right? To actually put out real intel that would tell you all the details, times, how much money was spent, what account it came from. She'd give out everything. Now, this happened. I actually was in this experience because back maybe 3 years ago, when I first started talking to Kim, I still was talking to the military white hats, right? So I still thought the RV was going to happen. So what used to happen is I would get the freshest intel. As soon as an operation would go down, I would get updates from the military right away, and I'd put it out. When I started talking to Kim, and I was still talking to the same guys, I would give them the information. I would tell them what their location was. I would tell them where they were because Kim was giving it to me. And then they went to hack the trust, right? Because they were trying to make the RV happen. Mm-hmm. So they tried to hack the trust to bring money in. So I told them they're at this terminal at the United Nations right now. And then I sent them the override codes for it because Kim gave them all to me, right? This is at the black server at the United Nations. So I know for a fact she has any intel you can imagine because right after that, the military were ordered by the Chinese elders to stop talking to me. so I guess they wanted to continue that delusion. Yeah.
Well, I never really, I knew this, but it really doesn't really dawn on me on how important it was for them to actually do the RV they needed to hack the trust, even from even from the point when Kingdom of Mana was involved, right? And they were designing this system and on Bush's ranch in Uruguay, and they were setting that up for the whole thing to be moved into there. It was again all part of their plan to do this GCR that as their financial Armageddon, right? So, but they needed again get the access to the assets, and so not being able to hack the trust means that they would never be able to have it, and makes the GCR not legitimate from the onset. It never can happen, and the one that has the asset, you'd be stealing it out of the asset, stealing the asset to make it happen. So all the good people out there ask, where are these funds coming from? And if it's not, from something that you can point to and say this is not in the trust, then it's theft, right? So you're waiting for some theft to happen before the GCR would actually occur on Monday.
Right. So, and Kim, when she was first doing this, she would follow the dinar, the currency reset blogs, and she would follow Cobra, because they would always put out the information, what was about to happen. So whenever the RV was about to happen, Kim knew immediately, oh, okay, they're going to hack the trust. They're going to try to hack the trust, right? Now, for the record, Cobra, they never made it past the first firewall of the trust. The best hackers in the world have never made it past the first firewall. Because if you can imagine, if a firewall was like a fence, right, and then a great firewall was a really high fence, Kim described the firewalls for the trust like an orb that is constantly moving inside of another orb, inside of another orb, inside of another orb. That's what they have to break through, and it's virtually impossible.
Yeah.
With the technology we have to happen.
I was aware of a system that was designed that way for a programming technology. So that it was the program itself never had a beginning and end. Usually you start writing a code, right? You write the first line, and then you do the next second line, and then you do the third line, and okay, that's like a module, and you write the next line. It's all like sequential, right? And everything acts in a sequential way. There's a path you follow wherever you go. But there's one language that was written that there was no beginning and no end, because it was in basically an ever-changing, orb, right? And then within that was another, and within that one was another. So there is no. It's even when you've shown that map where how the power structure was. It was you had Marduk in the center, right, and then you had this ring outside, right, and the people in that ring, right, knew they probably knew 5 of 7. Each one knew 5 of 7, something like that. So that no one had all the information starting there, and then you got the next ring outside of there. Same thing, right? And so after that second ring, very difficult, to see who's on the inside in the very middle, right? But that ring went out again and again and again and again and again, and they built this power structure, right? But it is a firewall that's in fact a people firewall.
Yeah. Well, it's all a big sham. Dan, there was something pretty serious. Did you get the announcement today from the Speak Project? We put out a very serious announcement today.
No.
I sent it to your Telegram. It's there right now. I think we should show that before we do. Just get that out there. So I think it's important.
Okay.
This is pertaining to the pandemic.
Oh, okay. Well, let me. How am I gonna? I gotta manage this. Give me a second. Get this up.
See if I can throw it up.
That's okay.
So,
I got it. Just gonna need to.
You know what I just found out? I just got one of my sources just sent me this. They got this whole process for the that's going on here with tracing people back.
Yeah.
That one of the board of directors for one of these companies is Chelsea Clinton.
Yeah.
So you can pretty much count on that being, the latest way to harvest kids, right?
Sure.
And if you have questions about that, you can ask Haiti. So I guess they're trying to turn New York into the next Haiti. So got that going for us.
All right, we're ready?
Launch it. See. Gotta show your screen, man.
Oh, you want to see it too?
Well, I think. I
Good
don't know.
evening, everybody. This is Tank at the Speed Project, and we just wanted everyone to know, as a public service announcement from the Speed Project, that we take this very, very seriously. So please, wear your mask and save a life.
This is stupid, free or slave. It's your choice. That's a very important announcement. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Wear your mask. Wear your mask.
Yes, yes.
I would love to set off a trend where people were wearing masks like that all across the country. It'd be so much fun. Like, everyone just showed up and superhero mask on. It'd be great. Much better vibe.
Well, yeah, I mean, free flow of air, right? So you could wear your mask.
Yeah.
No problem.
You can think clearly, right? I mean, that kind of mask is for like superheroes, right?
Sure.
Like, so you got everybody kind of tapping into their inner superhero, and people can breathe again. I think that's great. The other one says like end of the world, apocalypse. The other one says like, hey, screw you, I'm a hero. Let's change this stuff, right? So I like that.
So that's another point. Get the regular mask, right, and cut out a couple eyes and a nose hole.
There you go.
That'll be fine. All right. Well, I guess we're good for today. Yeah, unless there's something else.
I'm good, man. Appreciate you as always. Good night. Good day.
All right. Tomorrow,
Good together.
tomorrow will be T-2, a shaving cream fight. This is Silly String. Yesterday was Super Soakers.
Final countdown.
That's the final countdown.
All right, Candy. Have a great night. Everybody out there in the land of Oz, keep your head up. Keep your energy up. Talk to you soon.